We are in Mombasa on 87.9 SpiceFM. We are streaming worldwide, standardmedia.co.ke. My name is Olivia Otieno. This is Double O Direct from 10 a.m. every Saturday. Woman host, music by women, women guests, and I'm dressed by a different woman in fashion each week. Today, I'm in Akinyi Odongo. This is an amazing coat. I think she even dressed the First Lady. But don't take my word for it. Go on to Akinyi Odongo, Kenya. Right now, though, we are talking about digital technology for women in business. So what would you highlight as some of the challenges that you encountered as a woman entrepreneur in setting up your business? Or should I say businesses?
Well, yes, because BSD Group comprises 4 businesses. Thank you. We have a strategy consultancy around brand building. We've got an active PR business, Avid PR. We are strong in digital marketing, which is the reason I think that we have a case to show for everything we've done recently, especially in helping our clients, brands really actively engage in the digital economy. And then we also train in brand-based organizational behavior. But that said, I mean, it's been tough. Tough because entrepreneurship in this country still needs a lot of work around strengthening the framework, creating policies that will accelerate the realization of entrepreneurship in the way that we have the potential to do as Kenyans. So challenges have, of course, been around access to markets. How do you shore up and deepen the offering that your business could perhaps provide for beyond the markets that you currently are in? How do we get into Uganda and Tanzania and Rwanda? How do you create stretch beyond the comfort of a Kenyan market? So just trying to get a foothold beyond the normal markets has been quite a journey of its own. But more than that, also expansion capital. And this is the reality. And I'm really excited to see that this morning our audience is going to hear from diverse opportunities. You've talked about Visa and you've talked about unconventional capital. These are things that we really need to hear now as entrepreneurs because access to capital has been a reality. I think sometimes technical skills, because entrepreneurship was not taught in our schools, and maybe it now needs to be taught even more. So that has been quite an area to learn and deepen in terms of capability and competency. And then, of course, talent that the industry is finding that the school system and the college system is generating so that there is a match. So some of those have been the challenges, but over and above, it's been a good ride.
Speaking of a good ride, what are the highlights?
Okay, there have been many, but I think the one that I'm most proud about is last year, an opportunity that I had been thinking through, 2018-19, eventually presented. And this was to do with my passion over the years around women's economic empowerment and women markets, and the fact that for 20 years I've been in the business of crafting brands, innovating, communicating, and managing that. So in partnership with Ipsos, which is the 3rd largest research company in the world, BSD Group launched the first ever top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya, which essentially was birthed out of a realization that women's markets have often been very ignored, omitted, undervalued, misunderstood. So this study provided an opportunity for us to say, wait a minute, brands out there, do you know what the Kenyan woman consumer is thinking, how she feels, what are her fears, what are her anxieties, what are her aspirations, what are her needs, and what are her wants? And in that, we've provided great data for policymakers, investors, brand owners, business owners, product developers to tap and smarten the business decisions being made in boardrooms in Kenya,
yes,
so that women markets become core to to the decisions that even investors and products and services and causes and governments are making around general citizenry.
While you're speaking, something came to mind, brand identity. Do we as women entrepreneurs understand the value of strong brand identity?
Of course we do, but I think the bigger and better question is, do those creating brands realize the innate and intrinsic value of creating brands that would be attractive to a woman consumer who is at least 89% now influencing household purchasing decisions? Are they building identities and brand love to the level that she will automatically by default promote you, choose you, prefer you, love you, and therefore the loyalty dividend?
She for she. We're working on the assumption that the individual creating the brand is a woman, and that the individual consuming the product is also a woman. So with that regard, do the women entrepreneurs look towards, a market for creating brands that women who we know are integral and have a lot of purchasing power will love, will be loyal to, will go to time and time again?
I think that many are, and if they aren't, they need to, because the woman consumer is absolutely bankable. She wants to hear brands engage with her. She wants to hear the right tone of voice. She wants to hear respect coming from the brand. She wants to hear you speaking to her clearly through the channels that she is currently engaging. And this study of ours, the top 100 most loved brands by women study, is providing for those who are interested in this demographic the answers right there. So of course, there is great opportunity for those building brands today, whether you're a woman or not, to understand that there is a woman demographic and a woman market segment that is yearning for you, that is looking for you to give a brand to her in a way that she needs it, that she wants it, that she's aspiring for, and that you will be able to create it in a diversified enough way for her to consume conveniently and to her benefit.
I love it. Eva Mariah, CEO, BSD Group. Your questions at SpiceFM KE, whichever social media platform you're on, we will find you at SpiceFM KE. Coming up, another CEO, this time Africa Elite Group. Her name is Lucia Masao. Lucia Masao, welcome to Double O Direct.
Thank you for having me, Double O. Pleased to be here and finally to meet you.
I know. I see a lot of digital presence with regards to Lucia Masao.
Yes.
With regards to African Elite PR and African Elite Group.
Yes.
Tell me about the group.
Okay, so group, we started in 2010 and it's been a journey. So back then when we started out of a need. We were based in the coast, and I remember back then all the big experiential agencies were based in Nairobi, and there was an opportunity really. And coming from a very marketing background, I saw the opportunity and I was like, we are right on time. And that's when we created African Elite Group, which we started from a marketing background. Then over time, I went forward and got in the field of communications. After having finished my master's in marketing, I was very, very intrigued by the world of communications. And I went back to communication. And guess what that made? That made IMC, Integrated Marketing Communication, which is the world we live in today, which is either you are getting sold or being sold, literally.
Yeah.
And today, African Elite Group, we have communications and we have technology. So in the world of communications, we've grown really to serve some of the world's largest and beautiful brands, which we are happy to, and we continue forging forward. We have diversified. We have clients in luxury, of course. That's what we are best known for. We have hospitality, technology, agriculture, NGO, and yes, the world doesn't stop there. We continue forging ahead.
Over the last 10, 11 years, what are some of the greatest challenges you've faced as a woman entrepreneur?
I think, my gosh, it's a lot. If anyone tells you entrepreneurship is easy, they're lying. I think a lot of, first and foremost, from an individual perspective, is the imposter syndrome. Like, do I deserve this seat? And it takes a lot of effort for every day to realize I've walked that journey, I've done that, and therefore I've earned the seat. Then there is access to capital. I think as women in business, yes, conversations have come up, and today we have a lot more than what we had 10 years ago. But 10 years ago, it was very difficult to show up in a bank as a woman, especially back then as a young woman. I am still young, please no. But yes, as a young woman saying, I have this idea, this is this, even putting just frameworks. And then today, one of the biggest challenges is balancing work and life. I want to have my cake and eat it. I want to have a family. I want to run a successful business. Today, that's still, I think that one is all about adaptability. Every day is a challenge, and every day we learn and move ahead.
You have some really big brands under your portfolio, some really big luxury brands, and yet you're a relatively new company. How did you manage like the mammoth competition from the big name brands that you were competing against for these accounts? How did you overcome that?
Specialization. One of the things, I think we all come from a place, and especially the Kenyan market, we are really a Me Too company. But sometimes, a Me Too culture. But what really sets us apart is understanding what are some of the unmet needs which are not being met today. Consumers even do not realize that they have those needs. And therefore, crafting your own space in this all, in that all cultural space, and saying, I'm giving this is my route. It's not a route taken, but therefore I am going to specialize and I'm going to go for it. And that's, I think, is what has set us apart, especially in luxury PR. Because I remember the first time I ever even spoke about luxury PR, everyone looked at me like, number one, do we have enough luxury brands in Kenya? Do we even have enough in Africa? But the question is, when Steve Jobs created the iPad, how many of us knew that we would even require or even need the iPad?
Only Star Trek fans. You know yourselves. Yes, as Star Trek fans, we knew we needed it.
Yes, exactly. And therefore, and today, I mean, we have since integrated all these things as part of our lives.
Yes.
And today, I mean, look at it. Back then, when we started over 10 years ago, there was nothing like luxury. And everyone looked at you like, what's this thing you're trying to say?
Yes, yes.
And here we are, and it's just the beginning. And that's why I believe in innovation. You know, Geoffrey Moore spoke about the 4 quadrants, which he talks about innovation and productivity. And the idea is to understand at what point are you going to innovate before you push through your innovation to become your core objective, where it becomes like, this is what is going to bring me money.
Yes.
And I think that right there is what has set us apart. The fact that we have stayed ahead of every new innovation and every angle of business and every niche that we are going for, we have gone ahead of our competitors.
Yes.
I think that right there was the winning recipe, and it's what we continue to pride ourselves in.
I love it, Lucia. So for those who don't know African Elite Group, give us like an elevator pitch of what African Elite Group is all about, different facets of it.
Yes. So African Elite Group, we are 2 sides. There's African Elite Tech, which deals with resource ERP, ideally. And we have got African Elite PR, which is the communications. And here we build brands, literally. We come up with the strategies for go-to-market. We create and formulate your communication plans till implementation, using innovative technologies for today and making sure using the right data to understand where your consumers want to go, where they are, and meeting them there.
Do you have a footprint outside of Kenya?
Yes, so we have footprint across Africa today. Our key markets, of course, in the world of luxury, South Africa, Nigeria, and of course, big on East Africa. This is where we are at. This is where we play from. The beauty of technology today is, when you look at it, is ideally, today you can be here and you are speaking to someone seated in Egypt. And language, the one bit you need to absorb is the language.
Yes.
And today, I mean, so many of us can speak more than one language.
True.
So we are speaking to markets from this point
Yes.
throughout Africa.
There's a woman, she's an entrepreneur. As an expert, what would you say are a couple of mistakes that you find women entrepreneurs in general, make with regards to PR and brand building?
I think one of the things that I feel like a lot of people, and not just women, and is entrepreneurs in general, is that they go in without proper research. I think before you get in any field, before you start anything, just even if it's a small visibility study, but have something, you know, like you must put in the correct frameworks, whether it's research, whether marketing research, whether it's understanding what your consumers need. We say that in marketing, we say that in back in 19th century, 18th century, we used to produce goods for people. They had no choice. What we produce is what they consumed. Today, the market has changed. Today, your consumer wants what they want. They know what they want. You know you want this coat. You know why you want the coat.
Yes.
Therefore, it's no longer about what coat I can give you. It's about what coat you want and whether I can give you. So I think first and foremost, research.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Lucia Masao, she is the CEO of African Elite Group. Your questions at SpiceFM KE, any social media platform. Are you on Twitter? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Instagram? At SpiceFM KE. Send your questions. We're talking about digital technology for women in business. When you come back, money. You need it. We all need it. We all want it. Unconventional Capital is represented by Eston Detty. She's the investment principal right there. And you want to grow your business? You want the funding to start a business? You got to stay tuned. Today, it's all about digital technology for women in business. In partnership with Visa, we want you to grow your business. We want you to increase market share. We want you to have all the tools of the trade so that you are a successful woman entrepreneur. Joining me right now is the investment principal, Unconventional Capital. Eston Detty, welcome to Double O Direct.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
I'm super excited because everyone's asking, where's the money? Do you know, I encounter so many entrepreneurs, and I've been asking them this question since we started engaging. How did you fund this business? Nilisave. Nikatoa pesa yangu, or nilimechukua loan, you know. Why are we not getting more funding? We have brilliant ideas. You know, some of these are exceeding expectations. What is stopping Kenyans from getting more funding, even knowing about the funding options that are out there?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I was there many years ago. So I have a background in entrepreneurship as well, which I think is a good recipe to being in the investment space, really understanding the aches and pains that entrepreneurs face. And one of them is access to capital. Not only access to capital, but understanding what capital options there are out there for every stage of your business. So basically, and I know Eva Murai was talking about her, being out there looking for expansion capital. So capital, for entrepreneurs, you're either looking for capital to start your business or to grow your business, right? And you need to sort of understand, am I at the very early stage, idea stage? Am I looking for friends and family, angels, savings? You just talked about nilikuwa nimesave. That capital sits in that part of your business. And as you grow, you prove your concept and you start, you build your minimum viable product, MVP, out there. You need a bit more capital. So you start looking around for people who are able to not only seed your business, but also bring other expertise into the business. So what I found is that quite a number of entrepreneurs in Kenya do not completely understand the vast spectrum of capital, everything from debt to equity and everything in between, and what is best for their business. But the problem doesn't just sit on the entrepreneurial side. You'll find that in the investment space as well, there's a huge bias towards certain types of businesses. High tech, high growth, male-led. There's all these biases that sit there, either conscious or unconscious bias. So it's sort of like finding a way to bridge the gap between these two sort of like sets of issues on both on the entrepreneurial and investment side, and then we'll find more businesses getting funded moving along.
So tell me about your background with regards to being in this space, because right now you are an investment principal. That's a very, very big role, and you work for Unconventional Capital. But prior to that, just a snapshot.
Well, one of the things we need to realize before I get into that is, and I really was sitting down and listening to your earlier guests, Eva Muraya, Lucia Musau, and what we'll see even later when Mondia comes here is everybody has this unique path that you take. And there's no blueprint out there. So that's one of the things people need to realize even as I speak. And I have a very eclectic background. So I'm a mechanical engineer by training. I refused to go work for the airline or the brewery, which is what everybody was doing at the time. And it was going to be very easy. My father's an engineer as well. He was just made a few calls, my daughter, blah, blah, blah. I refused that. So off the bat, tried to found a business in renewable energy straight from university. Well, this is how I learned that you need to have business acumen on top of having technical skills. And that was a quick failure. And we don't talk about failure enough, actually. It's one of the things I'm going to challenge you, Olivia. As you bring your guests on, as people talk about the success stories, talk about failure. And failure is not the opposite of success. It really is sort of like a stepping stone towards success. So I just wanted to throw that in. So, did a business, tried to do some renewable energy, solar kitchen cookers for schools in rural Kenya, solar lighting for, various infrastructure projects in Nairobi. Got enough grant funding here and there, in-kind support, but not enough to really build a successful business. So that failed. And then, a few years later, started another business in the food industry. Had a co-founder for that one. That business took off really well, but then there's something called co-founder issues, and I will not get into that, so that I had to step away from that business. One of the things that was common in that journey was I realized that I didn't know where to get the tools and the capital to be able to grow my business, to really take it off to the next level. And I found it wasn't just me. It was a lot of entrepreneurs, because I'm very, very social. I talk to other entrepreneurs, other people in the ecosystem. And it was the same challenge, like, where do we get this capital? We see people, we read articles online or whatever it is about fundraising and all of this, but where do you start? So the past 10 years, I've embedded myself in working in organizations that bring investors together, help them solve their specific issues, but also help them bridge that gap where, how do entrepreneurs and founders, how can they be able to access this capital?
Yes.
And then most recently, I joined Unconventional Capital, and I'm sure we can talk about that as well.
I really want to find out about that. I've just gotten a message at SpiceFM KE. Now, there's a lady, she says she is 35 years old. She has a hair salon. She's been running a hair salon for about 4.5 years. It's very, very popular. I think it's around South Sea, somewhere in Nairobi. And what she wants to find out is, I have a successful business. I am making profit, but just not enough profit to open another salon, which is what she wants to do. She wants to expand. So, Njeri, I've just been told her name is Njeri. She wants to expand her salon. She wants to open a second branch in a bit more of an affluent area, maybe in Kilimani. And what would be the options with regards to her accessing funding, perhaps from Unconventional Capital or a similar organization? What would she have to provide?
So I don't think there's a similar organization to Unconventional Capital, and here's why. If you're looking for equity funding, for instance, this is venture capital and other venture funders out there. They're looking for high-tech, high-growth businesses, right? So they're looking to have you scale into 10x within 2, 3, 4 years. So, it will be a struggle for that kind of funding to look at your business at this point. However, for Unconventional Capital, we're looking for organically growing businesses, led by women or underserved founders out there. So when we have a longer time period, we call ourselves patient capital because our investment period is up to 10 years, for instance. So a founder like that one can come to us. Depending on the sort of the capital needs. Because what she has is she already has revenue. She's already proven in the market that there's a need for her services or her business or whatever it is. So we go in, we take a look at sort of like what this business is built about, what is attraction, what is the, capacity of the talent that she has in her team, and then we're able to sort of like make determinations off of that and seed that business to be able to expand to the next level.
Wonderful. And you mentioned that there is no organization like Unconventional Capital. So tell me in a nutshell about Unconventional Capital and where it has its footprint.
Yeah. So we, like our name says, we're trying to revolutionize early stage funding in Africa. You'll find that there are very many barriers to accessing capital that limits businesses to be able to even access bigger capital. So here, I'll say, so venture capital, for instance, it's very referral based. If you do not know people in the venture capital space, to give you sort of like an intro to a funder, it will take forever for you to be able to sort of like break those barriers down, open those doors and get those conversations. So we're online. We, just go, anybody who has access to internet can come on, make an application, talk about our business. We don't do pitch decks as well, so no fancy PowerPoints and all of that.
Yes.
Give us facts, give us what your revenue was for the past few years or past year, for instance. What are your projections? We also do a lot of algorithms and assessing of personalities, because if you think about it, when you're investing in a business, you're actually investing in a person, right? So we want to understand the people better. We would do lots of psychometric tests and just basic understanding of who you are as a person, and do you have any financial literacy? That's a big thing as well. And so we're just different in terms of how we approach investments.
Yes.
Trying to make it as automated and remote as possible as
Lovely.
well.
How do we find you online?
www.unconventional.capital. Quite simple.
www.unconventional.capital.
Yeah.
We'll be back. More digital technology for women in business. How are you? I'm Olivia Otieno. This is 00 Direct, a very, very, if not the safest space for women. Women host, music by women. Women guests today, 5 phenomenal women. Lucia Msao, CEO, African Elite Group. We have Esther Ndeti, Principal Lead, Unconventional Capital. We have Eva Mariah, CEO, BSD Group. Wandia Gishuru, CEO, Vivo Activewear. Eva Ngigi Sarwari, she is the country manager for Visa in Kenya. One of my favorite people in the whole wide world right now. You want to grow your business, you want to expand, you want to go into Rwanda, Uganda, West Africa. Listen to this lady. Welcome, Wandia. Welcome to 00 Direct.
Morning.
Tell me, how is Vivo using digital technology?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show. Hi to the audience. I'm really happy to be here because, I'm a person who's not tech savvy. And I've seen the way technology has changed the business. So I've written down, I'm old, I have to write things down, but I've written down a few things that I thought I'd share about Vivo's experience using tech. So it's a business we started in 2011. It's just over 10 years old. And we thought we were being really tech savvy right in the beginning because, one, we had a website. But actually, it was never used as a website. Nobody ever went to it to order anything. They just used to go look at pictures and then call us on the phone or come to one of the shops. So it was like an online catalog, really. We had social media pages, which we still do. But we kind of felt like digital marketing was just posting and then hoping to get people to like it and people to follow us. So it was like, yay, we have followers. We never really never thought you could track whether any of that would lead to conversions to actual sales. We had a point of sale system in the stores, but it wasn't on cloud. It didn't synchronize between the stores. It was very slow. And so that was basically the technology we had. And then about 3 years ago, I applied to be part of a global network of entrepreneurs. It's called Endeavor. And I was interviewed over 6 months by over 40 people. And every single one of them asked, how are you tech enabled? how much are you selling online? What technology are you using to track data? And I was like, oh my God, you know, if 40 people are asking you the same question, you've got to listen. And that's when we started to seriously look at sort of how we were using technology across the entire value chain. And you know, in the last few years, we've made huge strides. So in design, for example, we're using computer-aided design software, which helps us save all our patterns, do all our grading online. We use digital printing, which means we can make unique prints and give our customers something that's, you know, special from Vivo. On the production side, I mean, there's tech-enabled sewing machines that, you know, you can use that will use less electricity, will be quicker, will have, you know, less negative environmental impacts. I mean, we use everything that everybody else does. We use WhatsApp groups. I think, you know, 50 groups at least across the business. We use Google Drive now to save all our documents so we can share and edit things real time with each other. We can use, you know, the different tracking tools and dashboards and things like that. At our stores, we've been able to put counters at the doors so you can actually count how many people are walking in, how many are walking past and not walking in. Why aren't guys walking in? How many walk in, how long they stay, and you know how that is changing over time. So what days of the week, what times of the month, you know, how are different stores performing in terms of footfall. Things like your finance, your HR, how you track your leave. I mean, just everything. We're using everything we can afford to and where we can find tools that work. And because we decided to become a digital first business, we actually put our website at the core of the business. So
Yes.
we have, our platforms are built on Shopify, and we use that system to have everything to do with our inventory, our customers, our sales, our products. It's all in the same system, and so we're able to see at any given time just what's going on from my phone, you know, which is, you know, means I don't sleep at night because I'm like checking, has there been a sale online? We still do marketing online, but now we're able to actually, you know, from our website, link that to social media, to Facebook, to Instagram, to Google Shopping, to track exactly if you're spending on ads, how much is that converting? What is your return on ad spend? And you can track that down to the shilling, which is really useful. And all of that is what led us to build Shop Zetu, which is our new sort of baby in the family. It's a marketplace. It's dedicated to fashion, and we host multiple brands. I think right now we're about 110 different brands on the marketplace. And you know, we just want to take what we've learned, take what we're doing in tech and share that with as many different brands as we can, learn from brands who are way ahead of us and help brands who are still coming along so that we lift this industry, you know, as much as possible for as many people.
I've loved what you've said. Imagine you're just starting all over again. Of all the digital technology that you've mentioned, one or two that you feel, why didn't I have this then? Or why didn't I implement this then?
You know, I mean, I think no matter what the tech is, you need to track customer data, you know, for sure. Who are your customers? What are their patterns? Where are they spending? How often are they coming to you? When do they drop off? You know, categorize them so you know who your gold customers are and so forth. I think that's critical. Whether you're doing it on an Excel spreadsheet or if you can, you know, have something a bit more sophisticated, for sure, something around customers. And then on your products, I mean, in the fashion space, you want to track your, you know, categorize your products so that you can map them according to preferences and styles and sort of see how the changing demands are moving. And there's easy ways to do that.
Yes. Shop Zetu.
Yes.
You already own Vivo Activewear. You've mentioned there are about 100 brands now on Shop Zetu. In my interaction with the fashion space here in Kenya, I've encountered a lot of, we're in competition, right? Don't you feel that you're building up a brand that is in competition with Vivo with regards to the ones you're promoting on Shop Zetu? Haven't you ever felt that one, dear?
You know, there are 50 million Kenyans who get up every day and get dressed. And I would say 95% of what they're wearing is not made in Kenya. probably more than 95%. You know, it's all imported. Most of it is secondhand. And so, you know, if we're going to look at other brands who are coming up, creating, building, designing, if we're going to see each other as competition, we're playing so small. You know, we're scratching the surface of what the opportunities are. We need to get to the point where you walk down the streets of Nairobi and 50% of what you find is local brands, Kenyan brands, designed by us, made by us, for us. There's no reason. We make product. There's 60,000 people employed in EPZ factories making amazing clothing for export. Why are we not doing that for ourselves? So no, I'm not worried. I'm like, a rising tide will raise all ships.
Agreed. What advice or what info can you give to other women entrepreneurs?
All right. I mean, I've been thinking about what it is when it comes to tech. And I think this may not be unique to women, but I think perhaps it's more common with women. And we're just often, this is a stereotype, but many of us kind of shy away. And it's because I think, one, we're not sure what that means. When people talk about tech, what does it mean? We didn't study it at school. We're not all engineers like Esther is. A lot of us just shied away from those kind of courses. And so we don't know where to start. We think it's too expensive. You know, even if we found what we like, how are we going to afford it? And even if we can afford it, are we sure we're going to know how to use it?
Yes.
So what I would say to a lot of the people listening, if you're listening, hopefully you are. First of all, I think if you're in business and you're using the internet, you're using social media, you're using mobile money, someone's paying with Visa for your product, you already use technology. So, you know, I don't think there's anyone out there who can say they're not using digital technology. But the question we need to be asking is, are we using it in the best ways possible for us to do what we're doing better, and more importantly, for us to better serve our customers? And some of the things I think make it easier is sort of focus on your core. Think about what your customers are already saying to you. So if, for example, your customers are complaining, because complaining is always a request just flipped around. So if they're saying you're taking too long to answer us, you know, maybe you need a ticketing tool or a platform that helps you speed up the way that you respond. If they're saying your pricing is too high, can you use tech to lower your costs or to introduce a new product that might be a little bit cheaper? Whatever you do in technology, look for the multiple options out there, because there is so much. And so if you jump at the first thing, you may be paying more than you really need to. So costs vary tremendously. Find one that best suits your budget. And if we can't afford to like hire somebody on your team who's tech savvy or is a tech person themselves, then I think you just have to keep learning. There is no shortage of information on the internet about everything there is to know about what's out there, and it's changing all the time. So you have no excuses not to learn. Get informed. And don't let the jargon intimidate you. We use Shopify. We've been using it for a while, but if you ask me, is it an SaaS or an SES or TS? I don't know. I don't know, and I actually don't care. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just want to know, does it help us do what we do better and give something more to our customers? And you know, these days you can pay monthly for subscription-based models. Many of them have free testing, or you can have it free for your first month. So even if you're not sure, there's multiple ways that you can test out things. And there's a lot of free stuff out there.
Yes.
And I think the last thing I'd say is, you know, foundations are built, or businesses are built. The foundation of businesses are built on people, processes, and technology or systems. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the tech is, people will always be your most valuable resource. So don't just throw tech at a problem.
Yes.
Make sure you have the right people to serve the people you're there to serve, which are your customers. And so use technology to serve you and not the other way around.
Love it. Wandia Gishuru, CEO, Vivo Activewear and ShopZ. When we come back, Country Manager, Visa Kenya, Ivangigi Sarwari. 96.7 in Eldoret. This is SpiceFM. We're also streaming live, standardmedia.co.ke. That's giving you the benefit by Pebbles. Good morning. How are you doing? I'm Olivia Otieno. This is Double O Direct. 4 full hours. Woman host, music by women, women guests. Today, in partnership with Visa, we're talking about digital technology for women in business. women entrepreneurs, growing your market, increasing your profits. We have amazing women on the panel. You've just heard from the amazing Wandia Gishuru. We've spoken to Lucia Msao, Eston Detti, Eva Mariah. And now with me is the country manager for Visa in Kenya, Eva Ngigi Sarwari. Welcome to Double O Direct.
Thank you, Olivia.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Tell me about Visa's work in Kenya.
Okay, so Visa is a global payments network. Yeah, we are the technology behind that plastic. Yeah, though not going to be plastic for very long. So we are the technology behind that plastic. So whether you're at a merchant, at a supermarket paying for your shopping, or you're at a fuel station paying for what you just filled, or you're at a restaurant, or you're online on Shop Zetu, we are the technology that makes it possible for you to pay. A network for everyone, everywhere.
I love that. And Visa has a very strong commitment to women in business, to women entrepreneurs. So what are some of the steps that Visa is working towards ensuring that they have better POS available to them?
Yeah. So, Olivia, you know what we've realized over the years as we grow the network. So let me just start by saying
yes.
61 million merchants globally. So we make it possible for you to pay at 61 merchant outlets globally in over 200 countries.
Wow.
As we've gone through that, the journey of building that network, we've realized that we've got, partners from all over, across all divides, right? If you look at it from an income perspective. And more so during COVID, we saw small merchants get into the network. Why? Because digital was a way to be paid, as everyone was averse to handling money, and the government did a lot of work in terms of supporting that, or putting in interventions to make it possible for trade to continue to protect citizens, because handling cash was one way of transmitting the virus.
Yes.
So as we went through that journey, we realized that small businesses were greatly impacted.
Mm-hmm.
Small businesses had, were going to shut down if we did not intervene. And that's when we accelerated the pace of enabling them to accept digital payments, whether it's making, the POSs available to them at an affordable rate. And that's through a program called Where You Shop Matters. So that was at the height of COVID. And just putting them on the map and letting everyone know, that there's this small business next to you who would, just go shop there, support them, and they accept digital payments. So as we went through that, we also, realized that women-owned businesses the gap was growing bigger. Women-owned businesses make up to 65% of businesses across sub-Saharan Africa. And this is a too large population to ignore. And I think Wandia touched on this when she talked about the fear of adopting technology. And that's one of the things that, we're taking on in an initiative called She's Next. And what we're doing is, supporting women-owned businesses across the three pillars. One is driving digital equity through empowering through skills,
yes.
training, and even just lowering the barrier to accessing that technology. The second pillar is networks. Yeah, a platform like this where women can talk about the challenges that they're experiencing, and you get subject matter experts from the diverse backgrounds, entrepreneurs themselves sharing their story. And the third one is access to finance through a global partnership with iFund. I won't get into the details of that at this point, but stay tuned. We will be sharing more information as we approach the launch. But really, sitting at the heart of digital commerce, we as Visa realize it is possible to do well by doing good. Yeah.
Yes. When you encounter women entrepreneurs, how is it that Visa is making it possible for them to feel confident in venturing into e-commerce with regards to sales?
Yeah.
Because like Wandia said, there are some challenges that we as women entrepreneurs feel, valid or not, with regards to technology. So is it through workshops? Is it through webinars? Is it through forums like this? How are you engaging as Visa with those women entrepreneurs and trying to, waylay some of those fears that they may have?
So one of the things that we've learned, as one of the hindrances to adopting technology is what you said, fear, right? And the one way then to break that fear is through education, and it has to be in a forum, in a framework that is impactful. So it's forums like this that have, that large reach. It's webinars, classroom webinars. I mean, we just came off Zoom. I literally have Zoom fatigue. And so face-to-face webinars where, you drive that interaction and drive that, focus. Then I'm not getting my cup of tea as the class is going on.
Yes.
So the face-to-face forums, we will still have a few of virtual trainings. We've got our own proprietary platform, Practical Business Skills, that we run through our partners. So our partners traditionally being the banks. So we then distribute that digital content on driving, how to grow businesses, whether it's writing a business plan, how do you do your financials, how do you do your tax reporting. And then the third one is through the actual doing, right? So visiting the merchants and understanding what are the challenges, are you comfortable using that POS? If you're setting up an online business, what are the basics to running an online business? And through editorials. So we've done a couple of editorials. We did one last year on advising small businesses. If you're thinking of going online, what are some of the things that you need to be conscious about? How do you make sure that your channels are well manned so that that customer doesn't abandon his cart just when you're about to close a sale? So that's we're using the experience that we've built over the years, building a business that's heavily founded on technology and giving back. Yeah.
I want to start a business. I make the most amazing cupcakes, and I think my cupcakes would sell like wildfire. I believe that creating a fantastic website, it's an e-commerce business, it'll save me on several overheads. How do I ensure that as I sell my cupcakes, Visa is accepted here? Who do I talk to? How does the journey begin?
So Visa is a B2B2C model. So we work through partners, and our partners are banks, our partners are fintechs, our partners are the government. So what happens is we enable them with the technology, and then they enable it to the end user. So in this case, you would be an end merchant. And so what we've done is empowered the banks in terms of providing them with that like a sort of a playbook. When you're signing on a merchant, what are the basics they need to have, right? And then the core part of it is ensuring that we uphold what the technology stands for. Security is seamless, speed, right? So that's what we do in the background. On the front, you will see, it's the banks that will then drive this. So if you're a small merchant, and that's really what we've had to take an extra step on. If it's small merchants, then the playbook would be different from, say, a large retailer who's used to
Vivo Activewear, for example.
Yeah. So it's providing that extra help through skills.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We also run on-site trainings.
Wow.
Right, for merchants who are getting onto the technology for the first time.
Yes. Yeah. In partnership with the banks, with the financial institutions.
In partnership with the banks.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Your questions at SpiceFM KE, any social media platform you prefer. We have Wandia Gishuru, Eva Muraya, Ivangigi Sarwari, Eston Detti, I told you, investment principal, Unconventional Capital, Lucia Masao, CEO, African Elite Group. Send your questions. 94.4 Spice FM. This is 00 Direct, streaming live on standardmedia.co.ke. Listen, by Beyonce, music by women, women hosts, women guests, a different woman in fashion dressing me every single week. From 10 a.m., we're in the afternoon, so good afternoon. Today we're talking about digital technology for women in business. In partnership with Visa, thank you for sending your questions in at SpiceFM KE. You want to grow your business? You want to have more profits, or you're looking for funding to start your business? Today, we got all your questions answered. Starting us off, Eva Muraya. She's the CEO of BSD Group. And she's question is, what does digital transformation really mean for today's business leaders? This is for you, Eva, and it comes from a lady called Josephine. She's in Nakuru.
Oh, Nakuru.
My father's from Nakuru. Look at that. Hi, Josephine.
She's right there, right there.
Hopefully you're still online, and thank you everyone who has continued to stay on the show.
Yes.
It's been a wonderful morning here with you, Olivia. Digital transformation, I mean, today, how do you exclude it? It should be the first thing you talk about in your business on a Monday morning, and the thing that you're talking about at noon, and the thing you're talking about in the evening. Because if we are to drive customer centricity, if we are to drive brand love, we need to then ask ourselves, how can we do it better? Because digitization and digital transformation is at our disposition now.
I think, Eva, for a lot of people outside of Nairobi,
Okay.
they think that's a Nairobi thing. Or that's a foreign thing.
Yes.
But she's like, no. I live in Nakuru. I have a business.
Yes.
But how do I speak the same language that Eva is speaking?
I hear you. So I don't know what business she's in.
She didn't specify, unfortunately.
Yes, but that's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have a Facebook page. And you've got a community of customers. Organize a Facebook Live session with them. Tell them what your new value proposition is. Talk to them about the thing that you are now doing to strengthen your brand or strengthen the product. Talk about your distribution strategy now, because digitization is enabling us to have a lot more access to a variety of people that we couldn't have reached before. And just start small. Wandia was great in saying that even if you're not a techie, there is just so much tech available that you don't really realize is tech.
Yes.
So whether it's because you are more engaged using your social media assets to tell what your brand story is, tell it in the way you best understand how to tell it, but because you've used the currency of understanding the data of your customers and
Yes.
your clients.
Yes.
So business leadership today, everything, whether you're distributing, whether you are insulating data
Yes.
at a cyber security level,
Yes.
whether you are managing inventory, whether you are delivering through e-commerce, it starts and begins with digital transformation. So capability.
Yes.
Understand how you can sign up to whatever is available. There may be a lot available online. There are business schools that can offer some basic training,
Yes.
some more advanced training, but definitely acquire those skills, because it's the way of the future. In
Yes.
fact, the future of work is being propelled and being accelerated by a culture that has integrated digital transformation in just the whole way we operate.
I love it. You answered the second question, which is where should businesses start with their digital transformation? But question number 3 is with regards to brand building, right? Now, Stephanie wants to know, with regards to brand building, what are some of the key pillars for brand identity? Yeah, I think she wants to know, when I'm building a brand,
Okay,
what
lovely.
must I do?
Okay, let's give it a try.
Yeah.
So the first is you need to ask yourself, what's unique about my proposition? How different am I going to be over the other person, or the other service, or the other product, or the cause? Because some of us want to do good. We're in the impact space. So the first thing is to decide, I'm going to be different over several of these attributes. But when you're different, then you realize you're driving favor. Okay, so when you differentiate, something about you stands alone there, and people are able to say, she is different for this. For example, with our company, BSD Group, which is a business and brand communications agency, we are different because we absolutely understand women markets. We launched the top 100 most loved brands by women in Kenya study, and therefore we own data like no other communications agency owns in this region, because we now understand what women are looking for, what it is they're aspiring for, what it is they are fearful of, where their anxieties are, aspirations. So brands want to talk to us because we understand the space of women, and we can help them win competitively on that space. So when you are different, be different consistently. Don't be different on Monday and Tuesday, and not different Friday, Thursday, Saturday. Be different consistently, because when you're consistently different as a brand, you build trust.
Yes.
And once you are able to understand that value, then you want to begin to build awareness. Because when you tell your story and you're using different social assets, you're telling your story through the tools of PR, you're taking interviews, you're using media relations strategically, then your awareness begins to build your familiarity,
Yes.
which is a good thing for us to be more familiar with, say, SpiceFM show than other shows.
Yes.
But beyond the familiarity, then you want to start building reputation. Reputation, why? Because then it will bring what you call value. When your reputation is positive, it is strong, it is well understood, you are building intrinsic value, and people will either want to invest in your business, want to partner with you, they will attract unique value that you have then applied these 4 amazing principles. So I hope that that is helpful
Yes.
in helping you build your brand identity and stay true to it.
The other question, and this comes from Janet, and she wants to know, how do I join the Kenya Association of Women Business Owners?
Lovely question. So we've got our website, www.kawbo.or.ke, and you will find an application form right there. We would be waiting for you by this afternoon. Please sign up. And Cabo is also a member of the apex body KEPSA, which is the largest private sector association, and through it you would be able to find lots of help with training, a lot of help around public policy advocacy. You'll be able to find mentorship, you will be able to network, you'll be able to access markets because you will find business happening there. So kawbo.or.ke, sign up and become a member by Monday, and we're looking forward to you joining us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Eva Marie. I know you have to go. Before you leave us today,
Yes.
any last words?
Absolutely. I want to first say thank you, Olivia, and your team. It's been great having us on the show. But we're about to get into International Women's Month.
Yes.
Let's all go out there and break the barriers. Let's break the barriers. Let's know without a doubt in our minds that we as women have a significant contribution to make Kenya better, to make our counties better, to make our communities better, to make our families stronger. But the things that continue to hold us back, the things that continue to be the stereotypes that impose on our psyche, on our confidence level, we must say no. We must say it cannot continue. We must break those barriers. Courage, let's go out there with courage, even as entrepreneurs. Let's go there with a sense of capability. We are good at something. We have something to offer. Let's go in there, be committed to our customers, our clients, our partners. Let's go in there with a great sense of the right character to make a difference in society. But most importantly, let's wear a lens of compassion so that we make a difference and begin to build legacies. So let's break the barriers, and happy International Women's Month to all of you on the show today. Thank you very much, Olivia.
Thank you, Eva Marie. Thank you so much. All the best to you and everyone at BSD Group. Can't wait. I know March is going to be a very exciting month for you. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
I'm Olivia Otieno. This is Double O Direct, Woman Host, music by women, women guests, and I'm dressed by a different woman in fashion every single week. Today, I'm dressed by the amazing Akinyi Odongo. I'm hot. I am. But we're still talking about digital technology for women in business. In partnership with Visa, I have the CEO, co-founder, Vivo Activewear, CEO, shopzetu.com. Have you been to Shop Zetu? And if not, why? Ask yourself that question. Get on it right now, because Wandia Gishuru is a wealth of knowledge. And one thing I want to find out with regards to the team at Vivo, what was the journey like getting them to adopt digital technologies, especially those that were helping efficiency and helping you to track your customers and your profits?
So I think that the reaction has been different across the business. And what's interesting is I think the more senior people in some ways were the most resistant.
Aren't they always? Aren't the most senior always?
Because now everything is
Laid bare.
It's laid bare. You can see it. There's no saying, well, we're doing okay. Well, no, show me the numbers.
No more word salad.
But what I found is, like, for a lot of the more junior staff, they were so excited, especially if it's granting them a new skill. The man who was previously my driver is now, doing warehousing maintenance, but has to track everything on a system. And he's there. He comes to work with a bag that has his, laptop in it, and it's just wonderful. I mean, across the business, there will always be resistance, but people should not be afraid of technology taking away their jobs, because it will make your life easier. And then you can focus on things that are just one step above that, because the data still needs to be analyzed. Decisions still need to be taken. Action still needs to be taken. I don't believe technology will do away with the need for people. At the end of the day, we're businesses that are made of people, serving people. The human touch cannot be replaced. So I don't think the fear should exist. And if you're working with an organization where a new system is being introduced, then embrace it.
The other question I have here from Christine, she says, how do I get my clothes on Shopzetto?
Oh, wonderful question. Well, you can go to the website, and there's a section on the front page where, it asks, do you want to be on Shopzetto? Are you a seller, a vendor that wants to be on Shopzetto? We are looking for brands that have a consistent supply chain, so that if we promote your products and they do really well, can you do more? Because that's the beauty of being online, is you don't have to make hundreds of the same thing to sell hundreds. You just have to make a few, create some good content, and then track the interest. And if you can then quickly, speed to market, if you can make more of, similar of the same, then you don't have to have invested too much in stock in advance. So yes, we are always looking for new partners and would love to see more and more brands on the platform.
You heard it, Christine. All you have to do is go to shopzetto.com, shopzetu.com. Everything you need is on there, and they'll walk you through it. We'll be right back. 87.9 in Mombasa. This is SpiceFM. We're also streaming on standardmedia.co.ke. How are you? I'm Olivia Otieno. Where was I wishing you good afternoon at like 11:30? That's what happens when you wake up at 4 a.m. This is Double O Direct. Woman host music by women. I'm dressed by a different woman in fashion each week, and I only host women. Today, it's about digital technology for women in business. I have 5 amazing women with me today. Lucia Msao, CEO, African Elite Group. I have Esther Ndeti, Principal Investment Lead, Unconventional Capital. Eva Muraya, CEO, BSD Group. Wandia Gishuru, the CEO of Vivo Activewear and Shopzetto, and of course the country manager for Visa in Kenya, Eva Ngigi Sarwari. Thank you for sending all your questions. SpiceFM KE, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SpiceFM KE. Wandia, we've been talking about Vivo's commitment to digital technology with regards to tracking and data. What about women? Where do you stand on the role of women within the organization and women entrepreneurs in general?
Where do I stand personally?
Well, no, not where you stand. I'm sure you're a huge proponent. You think it's awesome. But what can you say to them? How would you speak to them?
I mean, I think trying to stick with the theme of digital. I actually think that technology is going to be one of the equalizers when it comes to leveling the playing field in business, because it has made information available. It's not just for men, or it's not just for certain income groups or whatever. There's democracy now around information. I think when it comes to things like social media, there are more women users than men. So your audience is there if you have a product that's for women. I think women are better communicators, and so we're able to take advantage of the opportunity that allows for marketing, for brand positioning, for storytelling. And so, when I look at, for example, influencers, there is no shortage of female influencers and bloggers and fashionistas and everything, and it's not the same on the male side. So I think men are, in this space anyway, they're kind of lagging behind. So I'm like, let's take full advantage of that. and sort of show the way and use it to, Eva gave her parting words around Women's Day and the theme this year, which is break the bias. And I think technology is one of the ways we're going to break that bias.
Yes.
And be heard and be seen. Companies could, hide their female voices, but media and technology and social media and all of that just means it's not possible anymore.
I love it.
Everyone has a voice.
I love it. And I was very curious. You said you were interviewed by about 40 people when
Yes.
you were for Endeavor.
Yes.
Out of curiosity, how many of them were women? Percentage-wise,
Probably about 25%.
Okay.
And it's a global challenge. I mean, I was being interviewed by CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and people who mentor, who give their time to this organization, not because they're being paid, but just because they believe it's one of the ways to give back. And even Endeavor, as a global impact organization, struggles to find women entrepreneurs to really back and support. And so that's a whole other conversation. You'll need to have a different panel just to talk about some of the things that,
Yes.
that keep us back.
Yes.
And I think there's so much external, but the things that we can control, which is the internal barriers, is where we need to focus. And just changing our own mindset, getting over our own fears, and just being clear about what we want and where are we trying to have impact.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Co-founder, CEO, Vivo Activewear, Shop Zetu, Wandia Gishuru. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you to you too. And to everyone listening. Happy weekend.
We're talking about digital technology for women in business. Plus, I will be hosting Akinyi Odongo. She is the president of the Akinyi Odongo Group, and she is my woman in fashion today. But right now, I'm joined by investment principal Esther Ndeti from Unconventional Capital. Esther, the question is, how do I get funding from Unconventional Capital? That's simply what people have been writing in at SpiceFM KE to find out, how do I get the money?
So I think the first thing is to really draw a profile of the businesses that we're looking for.
Yes.
So we are essentially looking for founders who are too large for microfinance, which is very common across Africa. But they're too risky for banks because they don't have assets, they don't have collateral, they don't have track record in the bank.
Yes.
Banks look at you and they're like, why would we give you money,
Yes.
right? Because you don't seem to have done enough for us to give you the money, right?
Yes.
And also you don't have the return expectations of venture capital funders out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we sit in the middle of all of that.
Yes.
Yeah? So you're a business, you've been operating for, 12 months and above. But you're still early stage. You have a bit of revenue, you have a bit of traction, you can be able to tell us, yes, over the past 12 months, I've made this amount of sales.
Yes.
And listen, it's not about the volume of sales, but the
Yes.
quality of sales, right? So you have really good customers who keep coming back. And also you can show us that there are more customers who are lined up. And if you had a bit more capital, you could be able
Yes.
to get those customers on board if you did this, hired more people, bought new machines, whatever it is,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So you demonstrate sort of like what your business potential is,
Yes.
right? And then earlier I talked about why, we use psychometric tests as one of the things other than assessing your business model.
Yes.
Because we are investing in the person. So we do cognitive assessment. Like, is this person the kind of person, if faced with challenges from nowhere, how will they react? Will they close shop and move
Being
on?
bereaved.
Yes. Bereavement could be one of those things. But it could be like macroeconomic factors.
Exactly.
Like, for
COVID.
instance, we have elections coming up. Everybody knows there's normally a slowdown in business around that time.
Yes.
Will you throw up your hands and go like, business
Tried.
is closed, I'm done, moved on, moved to another country?
Okay.
Or are you resilient? One of the things I've seen, the beauty of a lot of African founders that I've seen over the past 2 years especially, is the resilience
Yes.
of these founders.
Yes.
COVID came, various things happened, supply chains were cut.
Yes.
But people found ingenious ways, and they used, going back to the topic around digital transformation and all of
Yes.
that, just being able to figure out, with everything happening to them, how do they stay open? How do
Yes.
they innovate? How do they, change their business model to be able to fit the circumstances?
Yes.
So we assess for that. Do you have the potential for that?
Yes.
What is your entrepreneurial potential? So that's where we lie. We look for those kind of entrepreneurs and
Yes.
business models that they're not high tech, high growth,
Yes.
but they have the potential to grow into a good medium-sized or large business
Yes.
over a period of time.
What format? Because we all know when you're applying for a visa, not visa, a visa, there's a specific format they want things in. There's a specific type of form you have to present, a specific type of photo. How does it work with Unconventional Capital? You say you need X, Y, and Z. In what format must it be presented, if any?
No, I mean, and this is the thing I think a lot of founders were struggling with over a period of time. So if at all you got to interact with an investor, then you're asked for a pitch deck, a data room full of XYZ, and you're like, what? Where do I start? So we have a platform, an online platform, where you go www.unconventional.capital. You go onto this platform, and we walk you through every step. In fact, there's a video for, so it's broken up into 7 steps.
Yes.
Rather 7 categories of how to make the applications, an fully online application. So no matter where you are in this Kenya, I know earlier today you asked me, speak like you're speaking to people from Eldoret and Nakuru and Kisumu. It doesn't matter where you're from. You go onto this, so long as you have an internet connection, you
Yes.
go online, you make this application. We walk you through everything. There's a video that tells you, in this section, this is what we need from you. And then the good thing also is that if, in case you realize, oh, I don't have my business registration document with me,
Yes.
you pause your application, figure it out, get it, and then come back and resume your application.
Yes.
We've tried to make it manageable and friendly to founders, because business people are also very busy people. right?
Yes, of course. Trying to stay afloat.
Yeah, so you can't, if you're to sit down and do the application from start to finish, it'd probably take you maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Yes.
Not everybody has 4 or 5 hours within one day. So you can do it over a period of 4 or 5 days, 2 weeks, whatever it is,
Yes.
when the application period is open.
Wonderful.
So really tried to put the founders in mind and
Yes.
sort of like just give them enablers to be able to access this capital.
How long does it take, once I've submitted my application, I've hit that submit button, to get feedback or even to get funding? What's the communication line like?
Okay, so we have a communications lead who is fantastic at her job, first of all. So, between myself, my team, the tech team, and the comms lead,
Yes.
you constantly get prompts and communication letting you know at what step you're at and how much time is left and what else is needed from you. So let me go through our last iteration of the applications. We opened applications in September of last year.
Yes.
And they ran for 2 months. We opened it up for 2 months. Then at the end of October, we closed the applications. Actually, it's supposed to be 1.5 months, and we extended another 2 weeks based off of what we were hearing from the founders. They're like, oh no, please give us more time. So we were
And
lenient
you opened
enough.
this for funding of roughly how much?
Yeah, so everything up to, let's say under $100,000.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was like up to like $15,000, $20,000.
So let's say under $100,000.
But how many companies or founders?
So we
were you-
got 4,500 businesses that started the application.
Yes.
And then we got 850 who completed and did really good applications.
Yes.
And we are currently making a selection of 100 from those 850 applications.
And
So we're trying to do investments at scale, something I should have mentioned.
yes.
So if you look at any typical funder, you will do an average of maybe 10 deals
Yes.
over 2 years.
Yes.
We are trying to do, this year, we're trying to do 200 investments, for
And
instance.
the amount of money available was up to $100,000, or you were letting them apply for funding of up to $100,000?
Yeah, so the average is up to $50,000,
Okay.
but then of course, there's the outliers out there
Yes.
who, we think we could be able to either fund or co-fund
Okay.
with our partners out there.
And these are great because these are small businesses.
Yeah, they're small businesses,
Yes.
but is it Richard Branson who said, a big business starts small?
True.
Right?
I completely
So-
agree. I completely agree.
So we need to have more support for small businesses. There's a big hullabaloo about big businesses out
Yes.
there and how much capital they can attract, and rightly so.
Mhm.
But we need more big businesses out there.
Yes.
And to get them there, we need to fund the small ones, and that's what we're doing.
So back to the question about timelines.
Yeah. So we had applications close in end of October, and we will be disbursing capital in early March. So that is basically
5 to 6 months.
3 months
Yeah,
up to, if you finish your application end of October, November, December, January. 4 months.
That is
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. From the applications that you received, what was standing out with regards to, I think we need to improve on? I think in general, when sending in an application, you need to highlight. What were some of the key points that you were seeing with regards to what you received from the applicants?
So ANCAP needs to improve on, or is it we saw that entrepreneurs need to improve
No,
on?
the founders, because
Yeah.
when you submit an application, what did you, you would have gotten it had you, or we would have shortlisted you had you, or this wasn't very clear.
One of the key things that stood out to us is it's quite surprising just how many founders are not financially literate. So, you're talking about simple financial statements, your balance sheets
Yes.
or income statements,
Yes.
whatever it is. It's quite surprising that there isn't enough knowledge about the financial health of your business or what these terms were in the first place, because we have so one of the 7 steps is a financial literacy test,
Yes.
a basic one.
Yes.
And it was quite surprising just how many people fail that step. And not because they're not good entrepreneurs. It's just that an
They don't know the
understanding.
jargon.
Yeah, not even the jargon. They're so focused on product. They're not really thinking about the financial state of their business or where it's going. And this is key, because if you're trying to raise capital,
Yes.
you need to know what the capital is for and how it will
Yes.
affect your business financially.
Yes.
So where are you?
Yes.
What are the gaps, and how is this capital going to come into your business?
Yes.
So it's quite surprising. And honestly, so we're currently thinking about how we could partner up with financial literature trainers or
Yes, yes.
providers out there
Yes,
to be able
yes.
to really work with our applicants to help them either improve or just guide them through. We might make a few decisions based
Yes.
on the quality of the business, but we still think you need to have more training around finance generally, accounts basically.
Amazing. More
Yeah.
with Estendetti, Principal Lead at Unconventional Capital. Remember, it's www.unconventional.capital. Good afternoon. I'm Olivia Otieno. This is 00 Direct, woman host, music by women. I'm dressed by a different woman in fashion each week. In fact, today, Akinyi Odongo has provided this amazing coat, and she'll be with me in just a few minutes. We're still talking about digital technology for women in business in partnership with Visa. You want funding? Have you gone to www.unconventional.capital? I'm here with the investment lead. Her name is Estendetti. You got so many applications. You're starting to dole out the money in March. So how do you walk through with the people who you fund? Or are you just like, here's the money, all the best, oriti? No, seriously, what happens after that?
Oh my goodness. I love that you've asked this question. It shows that you do know that capital is only half the story. Money is only half the story. And any early stage investor will tell you it's more about the value that you create for these founders
Yes.
that actually takes them to the next level, not just the money. So what we've done is, because we're trying to do investments at scale, we've built a platform that has various service providers who are able to help them with issues around. So, some of the key issues for early stage businesses is access to talent. You're trying to scale your business. You're trying to build your capacity. Where do you get good people in your team? You're looking for access to markets. You're trying to scale past Kenya into Uganda or whatever it is, right? So we've partnered up with various providers who will assist us at a large scale, because these are the experts in these fields to help them with these issues. And so this platform sort of like serves as a one-stop shop for everything that they need. And we give each of our founders a dashboard. This dashboard shows them their financial health, what services that they've actually linked up with, and how their business is growing over a period of time. It shows the founders and also shows us at real time. So this is how we're using technology, really, to be able to achieve these investments at scale and give them the support that they need to be able to grow.
People are always worried that you give me money, now you have too much of a voice in my business. Is that the case?
No, so we actually don't take any. We don't take a majority share. We don't sit on your board. All we want is sort of like a view into your accounts, into your revenues, how they're growing, and not really to be punitive, but to be supportive.
Yes.
So we're not the type of investor who sort of like takes, decisions over your management of your business. We think that is up to you. You know the best how your business should grow.
Yes. Esther, it's been an absolute pleasure. Parting shots, parting words, parting advice.
No, so I just want to roll back because I know your audience is primarily women and your guests on this day are women. And I really love that. So I'm going to have my parting shots centered around women. I think it was Eva Sarwari earlier on who talked about 65% of businesses that are founded in Africa are founded by women.
Wow.
That's a fantastic statistic. But then here's another statistic. Less than 7% of funding went to female CEOs in 2021 in Africa. That's female CEOs. Then less than 1% of funding went to single female founders or female-only founding teams. That needs to change. And that's why Unconventional Capital does what we do. So our aim is that female entrepreneurs get an equitable experience by redefining their fundraising journey. So there's no better time to be a woman than now. We are course correcting, and not just Unconventional Capital, but various funders out there. We're course correcting. This needs to change. More women need to be founded. More women-led businesses need to be funded and grown, and just be recognized for the amazing businesses that they are. So as a female founder out there, this is your time. Seize the moment, set aside any limiting beliefs and just, flourish. And I think you're all superheroes out there.
00 Direct Financial Literacy, brought to you by Unconventional Capital. It's gonna happen. Isn't it gonna happen, Esther? I see it. I see it.
It really is.
I see it. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely amazing. All the best, and I can't wait to have you back.
I had a wonderful time. Thank you so much.